this thing done and slide into the conference tournament.
Coach, best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Pioneer coach Devin Carter as Pioneers get set to take on the Brevard Tornadoes. It's coming up. Game one of our doubleheader is next. Tusculum and Brevard as you listen to Pioneer basketball on the Pioneers Sports Network. All right, we got National Anthem going.
Right away. It's a confidence.
So when you hear it starting to wind down, you can play the tip-off. Give it 20 seconds.
The way they listen.
Voice of the Pioneers, Brian Staten.
And we welcome you back into Pioneer Arena here for tonight's South Atlantic Conference doubleheader, Tusculum and Brevard. For this Tusculum women's team, the 20th and final time as conference members for the foreseeable future between these two. The Pioneers lead the all-time series 15-4. Tusculum won the first 11, but the Tornadoes then won 3 in a row. The Pioneers swept the season series last year. Brevard took game 1 this season in Tusculum's last appearance at Boshemer Gymnasium. It'll be a lot more difficult, I think, today for Brevard, but then again, who knows? They've got the top scorer in the South Atlantic Conference in Madison Lennox, but they have 6 players on their bench, and only 5 are supposed to play. That 6th is an emergency player only. It's been a cleaning house process, I think, for the first-year head coach interim Donald Hudson, and it obviously he's been decimated by some injuries. There's a couple of down there with some pretty heavy knee braces as well. Let's take a look at the starting 5 for the Tornadoes. It'll be Lindsey Crisp. She is a sharpshooter from three-point territory. She is 3rd on the team in scoring at 9.3 points a game and shoots 38% from 3. Denia Wilson is a 5'4 freshman out of Hampton, Georgia. Annalie Bollinger is a old standby, but just a sophomore, 5'7 sophomore out of Hickory, North Carolina. She's 2nd on the team in scoring, shooting 40% from three-point territory. Sienna Bryant is another youngster, 5'5 freshman out of Roanoke, Virginia. And the other senior is the leading scorer in the league at Madison Lennox for this Brevard basketball team, the senior out of Raleigh, North Carolina. She's averaging 20.4 points per contest. She shoots 47% from the field and 65% at the free throw line, averaging a double-double with 10.2 rebounds per contest. Brevard is coached by Donald Hudson, assisted by Taylor Hyatt. 5-11 on the year, 1-11 in the league, and they've lost 6 straight. For the Tusculum Pioneers, it'll be the 5'9 sophomore out of Greensboro, North Carolina, Sydney Wilson. Casey Johnson, the 6' sophomore out of Greensboro, North Carolina. Malin Head, the 5'9 senior from Greenville, Tennessee. Jasmine Queen, the 6'2 senior out of Riverview, Florida. And Benny Makakala, the 5'9 senior out of Stockholm, Sweden. The Pioneers, as Benny is coming off her best game of the season as far as points are concerned. She's starting to rebound the basketball as well. She came off a 15-point effort against Catawba. KJ is leading this team, averaging 14.2 points a game in her 9 games this season with 8 starts, shooting 42% from the field and 45% from 3. She is the only player scoring in double figures on the season for this team. Makakala at 8.9 and Malin Head at 8.9. And Malin's point production has dropped off significantly. It has been a concern for Pioneer coach Devin Carter, who hopes that ends tonight for Malin Head. Devin in his 2nd season is 2-1 all-time against Brevard, 16 wins through his 2 years. They're 3-13 on the year, 2-10 in the league, and they have lost 3 straight. Assisted by Shanice Whitener and Adrienne Terrell. As a Pioneer basketball team that hopes a lot of things end here today. Their struggles offensively, their losing streak, And their team chemistry and camaraderie, that's another thing that Coach Carter is hoping that will improve as they get down the stretch. Our officials for tonight is Ed Novak, Molly McFadden, and Kim Crabtree. We welcome you into Pioneer Arena for the first of two, what we hope will be outstanding games for the Pioneers. Both Pioneer programs coming in here limping a bit. The women have lost 3 straight. The Tusculum men have lost 4 straight. And we've got an infraction on the opening tip, as it will be won by Lennox, and then she grabbed it and then threw it into the back court. So it's an over and back. Pioneers will have the basketball. Glad you could be with us. Bride State and courtside, our game station engineers, Jeff Moore. Pioneers move left to right, wear the home whites. This will be Makakala between the rings on the dribble. Well, should be picked up there by Sienna Bryant. It's a zone. They really are protecting Lennox inside. Jasmine Queen in the paint. Her turnaround jumper is off the mark. It's no good. And the rebound will come down into the hands of Brevard. So Brevard will have it, and Denia Wilson will take it across the midcourt stripe. Wilson across the line for the Tornadoes. On the right side, Chris looking inside. Here's Lennox working against Casey Johnson. Spins, shoots, misses. Rebound taken away by Malin Head. And on the break will be Sydney Wilson. She'll lay it up and in. Wilson did not play, and Casey Johnson did not play the last time that these teams got together. And November 22nd was a long time ago. Both of these teams' landscape has changed dramatically. That's the understatement of the night. Brevard has 5 players. That's a huge landscape change. Of course, the last time they played, they only played 7. Kylie Clark and Sienna Bryant came off the bench. What they can do is hit threes, and there's a 3 made by Annalie Bollinger, and she made a lot of those as well. 4 for 4 from three-point territory in the win last time. That put 3 players in double figures. Crisp and Lennox had 20, and Bollinger had 18. Inside they go to Jasmine Queen, and they're just going to have to let her go. They can't foul. They can't get in foul trouble, because they have only 5 players. They have 6 on the bench. Well, there's 1 on the bench. 6 players total. But she's not going to play unless it's an emergency. Lennox has the ball knocked away from her and out of play, and Wilson thought that she may have tapped it off of her knee. Either way, it's 4-3. That's our score. It's an unbelievable situation for Brevard, which I believe will get better with Coach Hudson. Lennox will drive in, and she'll draw a foul as she moves from the left side of the lane to the right side, and the foul will go against Jasmine Queen. Queen will pick up her first. That'll be team foul number 1 on Tusculum. So Lennox will go to the stripe. She's 65% on the year from the stripe, and she'll make her first. That will tie the score at 4. Second free throw is off the mark, no good. Rebound taken away by Tusculum's Queen. Makakala into the front court. We're tied at 4. 8:10 to play in the first period. Makakala right down the lane. In the lane, jumper is off the mark. It's no good, and the rebound comes down to Brevard and Lindsey Crisp. Might have been able to go all the way to the rim, but she pulled up from about 8 feet and unable to connect. Crisp will go right side into the hands of Bryant. Bryant holding it on the right wing, watched by Wilson. Now to Bollinger. Bollinger will try a 3, given just a little bit of room, missing it, but the rebound will go all the way out to the top, and Wilson. Brevard with the second chance opportunity. Bollinger from the top, giving it back to Lennox, who's watched by Casey Johnson. Tusculum's in a man-to-man. Rare man-to-man. Lennox down the lane, draws another foul. This one on KJ. So Casey Johnson will pick up her first personal foul. That'll be team foul number 2. Lennox back to the stripe, hoping to give Brevard the lead again here early in this one. Unable to do so on the first. So Lennox stepping back to the stripe. And connects on the second. 5-4 Brevard, Tusculum basketball. As Makakala will take it across the stripe. Tusculum 2 of 4 from the field to begin. Easy look inside for Queen. Is what they've been able to get. Wilson for a 3. Good. Sydney Wilson knocks down the 3, and the Pioneers lead 7-5. Bollinger to Crisp in the backcourt. Lennox, and then Makakala will run Lennox over. So Makakala colliding with Lennox, and that'll be her first. And already 3 fouls on the team against Tusculum. And this benefits Brevard because, number one, they're not committing fouls. Number two, they'll have a chance and an opportunity to get some free points with any foul with 7 minutes remaining here in this period. And 2 fouls to give only for the Pioneers. Tusculum coming with the trap. This will be Lennox trying to move to the bucket, and a foul's whistled on Jasmine Queen. So that will be her second, team foul number 4. That's a tough call against Queen. So on the inbound will be Brevard. Lennox has it again. Johnson trying to stay with her right in front of her, and Lennox still scores. Ties the game at 7. Into the front court, this will be Wilson. Will fake a 3, drive in for a closer look. This one's off the mark, and the rebound tipped out, and it will come out into the hands of Brevard. Tied at 7, Brevard basketball. 6.5 to play here in this opening period. Right side, Bollinger. Bollinger at the top. Tusculum trying to trap and switch, but Bollinger left room for 3, and she drained it. 10-7. Tusculum gave her just a little bit of daylight, and enough room for her to shoot is all she needs. 10-7 Brevard. Skip it. Malin Head will try a 3. That one's good. Boy, that's a good sign. Malin Head knocks down the 3, ties the game at 10. Has not had that type of confidence to really take that shot over the last 2 weeks. Let's just be honest, over the last month. Brevard in the front court. On the baseline, Bollinger rims it out, no good. Rebounded by KJ. Tusculum basketball into the hands of Makakala. Makakala across the stripe on the dribble on the right wing. Right side to Head. Head back to the top. Skip it. Left side, Wilson for 3. It's in and out, no good, and the rebound comes down to Brevard. Anticipating the rebound very well. We're just kind of running in and jumping, and it hits the rim a couple of times. But that was a pretty good shot by Wilson, just wouldn't fall. We're tied at 10, Brevard basketball. Bollinger onto the right side to Bryant. Bryant, Wilson. Wilson driving in, throws it right to Makakala. Steal by Benny Makakala. The Pioneers have it into the front court. Right side is Head. Looking for the pick and roll with Johnson, and her pass is deflected, and Casey Johnson's going to be whistled for a foul 65 feet from the bucket after the tip pass, and I think the feet collided. That's her second, and so problems for Tusculum here very early. And so shooting 2 free throws the rest of the period will be Brevard with 5:13 remaining. And no fouls have been whistled against Brevard. But then again, it's Tusculum's style, what they've done. They've come down, they've taken open jumpers. They haven't had the opportunity to force any type of contact in any way. And so it kind of plays into helping Brevard. They're going to have to start taking some matters into their own hands and driving and see if they can't get some of that contact call. Bollinger makes both free throws for Brevard, 75% on the year. It's 12-10 Brevard. Of course, they opened up the first period back on November 22nd, leading 22-9. Patterson and Jasmine Williams on the floor for the Pioneers. They come in. Patterson on the right wing for a 3, settling, missing. Head gathering the rebound, and there, Patterson has it. Left side, Wilson. Into Williams. It'll turn around jumpers off the side of the rim. No good. Nobody there to rebound. And a rebound by Brevard. Nobody for Tusculum anyway. Wilson will take it across the stripe for Brevard, leading 12-10. Bollinger with it to the top is Crisp. Crisp has her pass tipped. Malin Head has it. It's a 2-on-1 break. Head will look to take it herself, put it up, miss it. Patterson follows it and scores it. 12-12, Tusculum and Brevard. Brevard basketball, 4:10 to play, opening period. On the top is Lennox, who's defended by the freshman Williams. Lennox back to the bucket, hands it off to Crisp, around a screen to Bollinger for 3. That one's off the mark, and the rebound is out of bounds off of Malin Head. That'll bring us to a timeout. We'll take the break and return to Pioneer Arena in 1 minute. 3:55 to play, first period. Brevard 12 and Tusculum 12. Pioneer basketball continues on the Pioneer Sports Network.
Sports Network, your home for Tusculum College sports. Once again, the voice of the Pioneers, Ryan Staten.
This is a Pioneer basketball team tied with Brevard, who is 3 of 4 from the field, but they have gotten to the free throw line, 4 of 6. Lennox outside Crisp, extra pass Bryant for 3, and the line drive 3 is good. 15-12, Brevard, third three-pointer made, and again, they only shoot 29% from 3. It's just that the three keeps them in the game. They make enough of them. Wilson will try a 3. This one's no good. Rebounded by Makakala, puts it on the floor. Backs it out behind the line. Right side is Wilson. Right side, this will be Makakala. Looking as she picks up the dribble to Malin Head. Off the dribble for 2 is well short and will be rebounded easily by Brevard. 15-12, Brevard. Tusculum has come out of this zone. They've gone man because they don't want them to score threes. But Brevard is 3 of 5 from three-point territory. It doesn't matter. Just don't back away. From the top into the hands of Crisp. Crisp, left side pass to Bollinger. Bollinger to Lennox. Driving on Williams, who got a piece of the shot. Rebound taken away by Tusculum. This will be Wilson. Wilson's pass is stolen by Brevard. And Bollinger stealing it for the Tornadoes. And then Bollinger diving to the floor somehow comes back up with the possession and keeps it. It's just an effort thing. Crisp on the drive around Makakala, missed the shot, rebounded by Williams. Makakala looking to force tempo. Can they wear down Brevard? Right now it does not appear that way, but it is early. 2:19 to play in the first. Head on the dribble. Into the corner to Patterson. She'll try a baseline 3. It's good. Callie Patterson ties the game at 15. Patterson just 21% from 3 this year. Ties it with 2 minutes to play in the period. Across the stripe is Wilson for Brevard. Into the hands of Crisp. Crisp. Bryant gets away from her defender. Lennox tries a 3. This one's no good. Rebounded by Patterson. Patterson with the ball into the front court for Tusculum. 1:40 on the clock. Wilson trails the play to Head in the corner. On the left wing into the hands of Wilson. Patterson on the right wing. And Williams will come to set a screen. Tusculum has been perimeter oriented. And they have gone rarely right now where they go in the paint to Wilson. And Williams had her pass stolen by Lennox. Lennox into the front court, gives it up to Bollinger. Bollinger between the rings. Lennox into the paint. And a whistle on Wilson of Tusculum. They're going to get Wilson with the shove. That'll be her first. 6 fouls against the Pioneers so far in this first period. 0 against Brevard. And at the free throw line, Crisp will knock in the first free throw. Crisp at 30, make that 75% on the year from the free throw line. Made them both. 17-15, Brevard leading Tusculum. So across the stripe with the basketball, Makakala. Makakala will penetrate, put it on the floor, and had it tipped. No, she just lost it. It goes 100 miles an hour out of bounds, like it was shot from her hand. So it's Brevard basketball, and on the inbound, this is going to be Crisp. Bollinger with it. Under a minute to play in the period. Brevard leads 17-15. Bollinger on the dribble. Patterson defending. Roberts is checked into the game for the Pioneers. At the top will be Lennox. Lennox wants to take Williams. She'll drive and reject the shot again. Williams' length is going to hamper Lennox big time. Into the front court will be Roberts to Patterson. Can the Pioneers become an interior team? They have settled for 3s. They have attempted already 6 in the period. Robinson to Patterson. Patterson will elevate from 18 feet, drain it off the dribble to tie the game at 17. 15 seconds in the period. Brevard to inbound, get it to Lennox. Lennox will attack Jazz Williams. And she won't go up this time. Knew she'd get the shot blocked. Crisp has it with 3, and finally a turnover against Brevard, 2.8 seconds. I thought Lennox traveled early. Crisp definitely did on the illegal dribble. So 2.8 on the clock. Tusculum and Brevard tied at 17. Patterson gets it. She'll get a shot away at the buzzer. Off the mark. It's no good. We go to the end of the first, where it's Tusculum 17, Brevard 17. Pioneer basketball continues after this on the Pioneers Sports Network.
To the Pioneer Sports Network. Pioneer Basketball, your home for Tusculum College sports. Once again, the voice of the Pioneers, Ryan Staten.
Brevard basketball, we start the second period. Tied at 17. Tusculum 44% from the field, hit 7 of 16 shots, most of them perimeter shots. Points in the paint for Tusculum, 8. Madison Lennox will score to start the second. Tusculum basketball down 2. Wilson will drive baseline. Williams in the paint. Floater is good. Jasmine Williams ties the game just like that. Coming off her career best game in her last outing against Catawba with 6 points. Lennox will take it to the foul line and shoot over Williams. It's no good, and the rebound taken away by Tusculum. And the long pass is tipped out by Bollinger. 19-19, Tusculum and Brevard, and a breakneck pace as far as a team with only 5 players is concerned. Patterson on the baseline. Behind the three-point stripe, Williams. Makakala on the right wing. Tusculum without Reagan Croft, who played a bunch of minutes in that first meeting. Jumper is off the mark. It's no good. Off for 3 by Patterson, rebounded by Brevard. Also without Tara Shields, who had one of her best games against Brevard in the first meeting this year. Brevard basketball, we're tied at 19. Lennox will hand it off to Bollinger, uses her for a screen for 3. It's no good, and the rebound comes down to Patterson. And a jump ball tie-up situation, and the arrow will favor Brevard. Oh, pardon me, Tusculum. Pardon me. Now, Patterson had the basketball, and we've seen some light fouls called against Tusculum. We've seen some things that have been able to get away Brevard, and I think that's another situation there. They're able to get away with some contact there that I don't necessarily agree with it being as consistent as it has been. So Pioneer basketball either way. We're tied at 19. Tusculum 8 of 18 from the field. Brevard's 5 of 15. The difference is Tusculum has not attempted a free throw. And then Patterson just throws it right away. And then a very cheap foul 80 feet away from the bucket against Callie Patterson. That'll be her first and the team's first of the period. Tusculum has committed 7 fouls of the game to Brevard's 0. 8.5 to play in the second. Bollinger with the basketball for Brevard. On the right side, into the hands of Denia Wilson. Wilson, crisp. Bollinger gets free, takes a shot from the foul line, no good. Rebound taken by Makakala. Tusculum basketball tied at 19 with Roberts, Wilson, Jasmine Williams, Makakala, and Patterson on the floor for the Pioneers. Makakala. Right side Patterson, extra pass, Roberts, long range 2 is no good. Rebound taken on the weak side by Denia Wilson. Nobody able to rebound. And a timeout will be asked for by Donald Hudson of Brevard, and that will take us to a timeout. We'll take the break. We're back in 1 minute. 7:56 to play here in this opening half. Tusculum 19, Brevard 19 on the Pioneers Sports Network.
Tusculum College Sports on the Pioneer Sports Network. Your home for Pioneer basketball with the voice of the Pioneers, Ryan Staten.
Tusculum and Brevard tied at 19. Bollinger has 8 to lead the way for Brevard. 7 points for Callie Patterson off the bench tonight. 5 for Sydney Wilson. Casey Johnson in foul trouble is on the bench with her 2 personal fouls. Didn't even really get a good look. Madison Lennox out of the Brevard timeout with it at the top. Will drive on Williams, who gets her 3rd rejection of the game. Will Lennox be able to continue to drive with that long reach by Jasmine Williams? Exactly why Devin Carter went after Williams. She could be a defensive stopper. Set the all-time shot block record at the famed Ladies Classic here in Greenville as a member of the Morristown West Lady Trojans. Lennox step back 3 around Williams, and it knows. Williams is going to force her to take her game outside. And I guess the ball was tipped out. I could not see the action because Devin Carter makes a better door than a window. And apparently it's Brevard basketball after the long 3 was a miss. Patterson will defend the inbound and knock the ball out of play. Good catch by Randy Loggins. He tried to palm the thing with one hand, and I guess he learned that his hands aren't as big as he thought they were because he was not able to do that. Still a good thing, though. You don't want it to hit that dome. And another ball knocked away by Tusculum on an inbound. That was dangerously close to a 5-second count as well. Tusculum trying to deny every opportunity. They get it inbounds to Lennox, who will take it into the front court herself. Outside, a 3 on the way by Bryan is good. And Sydney Wilson just got run over. And no call. Into the front court with the basketball is going to be Tusculum's Makakala. It's 22-19. Roberts for a 3. This one's well off the mark. Nobody in rebound position, and here comes Brevard. Under 7 to play in the first half. 22-19. As Lennox just came right down the middle of the floor, and Wilson took the charge. Should have been a charge. She kicked it out to Bryan. Bollinger with it from the top to Crisp. Crisp, and an offensive foul called here. Good positioning by Wilson, and a pretty easy call there. And the first foul whistled against Brevard will come at the 6-minute and 39-second mark of the second period. Tusculum basketball, they trail by 3 at 22-19. 8 of 20 from the field. They have settled for a bunch of perimeter shots, and here comes a steal by Lennox. And then Lennox, that's a fast break opportunity, and she mishandled the dribble as she was going up. Makakala came back to apply the pressure, and Brevard will turn it over. Their 5th turnover right after Tusculum gave it up. Tusculum has got to secure the basketball. They're playing good enough to win. They've got to get in better rebound position. They're being dominated on the glass by a Brevard team that has 5 players. Right side, right baseline. Into the paint, Jasmine Williams put it high off the glass, missed it, got it back, put it up, and missed it. And then Lennox battling for the rebound. It's out of bounds off of Lennox. They're going to get Jasmine Williams with a foul. Williams is going to pick up the foul. That'll be her first and the team's second. Holy cow. 22-19. Left side front court, this will be Bryant for Brevard. Bollinger on the right side. Lennox spinning on Williams. Oh, and they're going to count that bucket. They're going to call another foul on Jasmine Williams. That's going to be her second and the team's third. I guess our game plan is to come out and to commit as many fouls as we possibly can in the game, because that's what it apparently is boiling down to. Brevard has the largest lead of the night at 25-19. Makakala, we have got to quit being perimeter oriented. Left side, Wilson will drive in for a closer look, elevate, miss. Wilson gets the rebound back. Her floater is no good. Williams battles for the rebound and lost it out of play. Queen will check in for Jazz Williams, who has played good. She has 3 blocks in the basketball game. 5:26 to play in the first half, and Brevard holding a 25-19 lead. And Jasmine Queen is going to pick up her third personal foul. So number 3 on her, team foul number 4. And it'll bring Kalia Murray, another shot-blocking presence, into the basketball game for Tusculum. So Queen exits with the 3. Well, we're going to continue to throw numbers at them, but this best-case scenario continues to only get better for Brevard. They've committed 1 foul. It came on the offensive end. Tusculum has committed 10 so far in the game. Have not attempted a free throw. Brevard 7 of 9 there. Lennox throws out of a double team to an open Bollinger, who drains another 3. 28-19 Brevard. Under 5 to play in the opening half. Across the stripe, this is going to be Makakala. And just too slow on our sets offensively. We're not very crisp there. Makakala will try a 3. Another perimeter shot, no good. Wilson gets it. Now inside to Kalia Murray. Murray. Lennox is just going to give her the shot. Just be patient and get a good position. Missed the shot. And into the front court, this will be Wilson, Denia Wilson for Brevard to Bollinger. 28-19 Brevard. Little push off by Bollinger and give it up to Lennox. Lennox with 10 seconds to shoot. Wants a clear out. She'll try a 3. No. Rebound, Tusculum's Kalia Murray. Into the hands of Sydney Wilson as we go to 4 minutes to play here in this first half. This will be Patterson. Baseline jumper, no good. Weak side rebound by Head. Lost the handle. Gets it out somehow to Makakala. Back to Patterson. And Patterson will be fouled, trying to make the move to the bucket. And that'll be Madison Lennox, who will pick up her first. Team's second of the period. So on the inbound, it'll be Makakala. She'll throw it out to Malin Head. She'll put it on the floor, and a whistle for a hand check as Head actually hit a shot. And the foul on Sienna Bryant will be her first. A lot of hand checks in the first, but we have not forced Brevard to play defense. We have settled for a bunch of jump shots in our offensive set. Makakala at the top to Head. Right side, Makakala. Gets a screen. Wilson, left wing 3, good. I think they counted it a 2. They did. Just a 2-pointer. It's 28-21. And Brevard in the backcourt facing the Pioneer pressure. Into the front court is Bollinger on the dribble. Into the hands of Lennox. Lennox to Bollinger from the top. Watched by Makakala. 10 seconds to shoot. And Madison Lennox wants a clear out once again. Bouncing it to Chris, driving on Wilson. Will put it up, miss it. Rebounded by Makakala. Outlet it goes to Patterson. Has Lennox to beat. Will put it up, miss it. Head is there to follow it up. She misses it. Head is stumbling out of play. The ball is loose. It's deflected, and it will be thrown off of Wilson, out of play to Brevard. Got to make a layup. 9 of 30 from the field. Tusculum 3 of 8 from 3 in the basketball game. Tusculum went from 44% down to 30%. Brevard's 8 of 23 from the field. 5 of 11 from 3, and they're 7 of 9 at the free throw line, and currently they hold a 7-point lead. Into the paint, this will be Bollinger. Slings it back out onto the left wing to Denia Wilson. Crisp on the baseline with 8 to shoot. Bollinger all alone for 3. Missing. A rare miss for her when she's just wide open. How does she get wide open? 2.5 to the half, and the Pioneers trail by 7, 28-21. In the corner, Malin Head open for a 3. No. Rebound at Makakala. Back to Head to Wilson. Extra pass to Patterson. Puts it on the floor. Drives down the lane. Some contact. She'll finish. 28-23 Brevard. And Donald Hudson will call for yet another timeout. He'll have 2 remaining. So his team just getting a little bit tired. 28-23 is our score. Coming up after the conclusion of this one, it's game 2 of our doubleheader. Same 2, Tusculum and Brevard. The Tusculum men come in here. They've dropped 4 straight. A very disappointing loss on the road to Bluefield State on a Monday, giving up a 14-point second-half lead. And to drop that game to the Big Blues, see if we can turn it around. It was a thrilling 89-86 win for the Pioneers, the first time these teams met back on November 22nd. And the big freshmen, Hodnett, Dotson, Blevins, had big games at a stretch for the Pioneers and rallied the troops. Tusculum rallied from way down to take a lead and hold on to the win. That's game 2 of our doubleheader here tonight. Brevard out of the timeout. Into the front court is Bollinger. You know, Bryant, along with Denia Wilson, don't handle the ball much. It's primarily Crisp, Lennox, and Bollinger. Maybe we take them away. This will be Crisp. Layup underneath is up and good. 30-23. They got Crisp on the baseline. I would almost just say we'll let the 2 youngsters who don't handle it try to beat us. Makakala down the lane. Finally, another hand check is called, as that is something that could have been called in the first, but apparently it's going to be called here in this second. It'll be Bryant with her second and team foul number 4. On the inbound, it'll be Makakala. Makakala on the inbound to Patterson with the Pioneers down 7. She'll elevate from 17 feet, miss the shot. Long rebound will come out to Malin Head. 90 seconds to play here in the half. Makakala to Patterson. Extra pass to Wilson. She'll try a 3. This one's no good. And every rebound is going to a Brevard player, it would appear, here in the early going. 17th rebound for Brevard already. Pioneers have responded, but 17. Tusculum has 24 missed shots. 30-23. Brevard with the lead. They're shooting 36%. Lennox to Crisp in the paint. Knocked away by Murray. 1 minute to play. The Pioneers have the ball. Makakala will force tempo. Give it up on the baseline. Murray. Jumper is no good. Follows her own miss and puts it up and in. 30-25. Brevard. 35 seconds to play in the half. Denia Wilson across the stripe for Brevard. And will dribble it to a spot and give it up. Now on the right side. With the basketball is going to be Wilson. Crisp. Lennox. Watched by Murray. Jumper is no. Too strong. Rebound taken by Malin Head. And Malin Head not paying attention and has the ball knocked away. Layup opportunity, good. Gotta be more sound than that. Well, when you get it knocked away, don't look at your coach. Go get it. 5 seconds to play. Makakala down the lane, out of control, missing, and Brevard will go to the locker room, leading it by 7. Coming up here at the half during our Pioneer Halftime Report, Ben's assistant coach Jay Welburn will join us as you will return as we get ready for Game 2 of our doubleheader against Brevard. Here at the half, it's Brevard 32, Tusculum 25. Your Pioneer halftime report is next on the Pioneer Sports Network.
Our contestant for the question of the game is Cameron Ellenberg. Who is the winningest coach in Tusculum College women's basketball history? Is it A, Angela Bob, B, Jack Tripp, or C, Randy Miller? Again, winningest coach in women's basketball history at Tusculum. A, for Angela Bob. The answer is A, Angela Bob. On a school record of 151 games in his 9 seasons in the Pioneers. Congratulations to Timber Ellenberg. She is taking home $5 off any purchase of $10. That's the Fanatics 101 question of the game, which you'll be asked to select Tusculum home athletic events. The next one located in Johnson City.
At the half, Brevard leading Tusculum here 32-25, and not the way you may think. Yes, they've hit 5 3-pointers, but they have 5 players, and right now just kind of outplaying Tusculum, to be quite honest. They're shooting 37%, Tusculum just 29% so far here in this opening half. Better things to come in the second half, we hope. Game 2, we hope a lot of good things will happen in Game 2 as well for this Pioneer basketball team. Looking for a win, joined by Pioneer assistant coach and Jay Welburn, and associate head coach. I think I probably should say that right? Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't. Not quite yet.
Well, we'll get there, right? All
Hopefully.
Right. This is a Pioneer basketball team.
If they all hit, they all win. Winners all around. Here we go. Shoot whenever you're ready. Half court shot. We're going. That's 2 times through. They each get 1 more shot. So, let's see each one of them hit the rim at least once. How about a round of applause for our 4 contestants, Taylor Johnson, Civil West, Rachel Winter, and Allison Lee. Good job, ladies. Good luck next time.
Their personnel has changed. We haven't changed our personnel a whole lot, but how have we grown? How have we matured? How are we going to be different here tonight and erase what we have done over the last 4? Because we're a much better team than what we've been able to show But how are we going to be able to get that done tonight against Brevard?
We have, we've grown a lot. Back then, the freshmen were still babies. They're just getting their feet wet. First time ever on on an away game where they were able to produce. At home, they tend to be a lot better. I expect that out of them tonight, to be honest. I think they'll be able to step in and do well for us. But we've changed a lot. We were playing a little matchup and a lot of man-to-man. We've kind of flipped that now, playing a little man-to-man and a lot of the matchup. And we've had stretches where we've been really, really good defensively in particular over the last 10 games or so. We've been able to hold people for long stretches without scoring. The problem is when they finally do score, it's like an avalanche.
Right.
And then on the flip side of the coin, we haven't shot the ball very well for 40 minutes. We'll go through stretches where we'll hit, 9 out of 10, something like that, and then go 0 for 12, and we got to get more consistency of play from everybody. I think the seniors are pressing a little bit, trying to cover up and win these games because they feel their careers dwindling, really, to be honest with you. And meanwhile, the freshmen are starting to come on, but we need them to come on quicker. And hopefully tonight will be a good step forward and we can get something started. We got to put 40 minutes together, that's for sure. We haven't done that yet all year. The league hasn't seen our best play. It's coming. I don't know when it's going to hit. We need it now, but hopefully it'll be soon. Hopefully it'll be tonight.
Yeah, there's a lot of coaches out there that this will be the second time through the league as we get really ready to start to do all that now. And we know each other, the matchups, the league is so tight. You talked about knowing coaches. You probably know more than that. Mike knows all of these coaches. They know all of the players. You know players from when you coached them that are here in the league or at least gone through there's so much familiarity.
Yes,
We've
sir.
got to lean a little bit on our seniors, though, right now. And we've been such a good offensive team all season long. We've hit this dry spell, and I get it. We've got to be more consistent. But do we need to lean on Kendall Patterson a little bit more to look to score?
We do. Kendall, and the other thing is, Corey Fagan sometimes he'll come out and have 20.
Yeah.
For the next game, he may have 8.
Right.
And we've got to figure out ways to get him easier buckets, Kendall easier buckets, and we're working on those things in practice and trying to get them easier to get them going because we know they've got to produce. Obviously Kendall's one of the best players in the league. We know that. The matchup he's going to have tonight with Stevie will be a great one, and it'll go a long way for determining who wins this game. Stevie's a good matchup with him because similar size, similar bodies. Both of them love to drive the ball. I think Kendall probably shoots it a little bit better, and we rely on him to do so much because he also assists the ball so well. But we're working on getting those guys some easier shots and finding them ways to get them going a little bit better.
Rebounding has to be key, obviously. We haven't done a good job there as well. We used to, we just played a team that was minus 11 in that rebounding margin, and they kind of took it to us. Do you have to have an emphasis on that tonight?
Yes, we do. We do. Part of that with young kids in particular, we changed who our 4 was, played Hartle a little bit more, Zach Hartle, who's done a great job and is getting better at rebounding, but I think we dropped off a touch because, Diddy wasn't out there. Zach Davis wasn't out there anymore. But now, Zach's coming back. I don't even know if Coach plans on starting tonight or not because of the eye, but we'll find out soon. But if he's back, he's a warrior on the glass. Obviously, we lost him at the very beginning of that game, and some of those rebounds that they ended up getting late, I don't think they get if Zach Davis is on the floor. But we're getting better in all phases. We've got to start. People are getting key offensive rebounds against us. At times when we're trying to stop a run or something like that, they'll come up with one.
Right.
We can't let that happen. Our energy has to trump theirs, and we need all 5 guys going. Kendall's got to go defensive rebound. Ronnie's got to go defensive rebound. We need everybody on that glass, especially when we're in the matchup zone, because there are gaps, there are holes that people can fill. That one guy will have 2 guys on his side. Well, he needs a buddy to come help him.
Right.
So as we're transitioning to the matchup, I think we're going to start getting better at that just by experience. And this will be our 11th game in it. And so far our numbers I think we've had 7 out of 20 halves in the 30% range. So we're headed in the right direction. But we got to get better quicker.
No question. Hey, outstanding job. Good stuff.
Thank you very much.
All right. He's Jay Welburn. We're coming back with more halftime right after this. At the half, it is Brevard 32, Tusculum 25. As you listen to Pioneer Basketball here on the Pioneer Sports Network.
So long, I forgot we were at half again.
Network, your home for Tusculum College sports. Once again, the voice of the Pioneers, Ryan Staten.
32-25, our score at the half. Brevard leading Tusculum, outscoring Tusculum 15-8 in that second. For Brevard, they shoot 10 of 27 for the first half, 37%, 5 of 12 from 3, went 7 of 9 at the free throw line. For the Pioneers, they went 11 for 37, had 10 more shots in that first half. Shot just 29%, will round up 30%. 3 of 9 from 3, did not attempt a free throw in the first half. Tusculum did out-rebound Brevard 26-18. 12-4, the difference in the offensive rebounding. Brevard 7 assists, 6 turnovers, 0 blocks, 7 steals in the first half. For Tusculum, they had 7 assists, 8 turnovers, 3 blocks, all from Jasmine Williams, and 3 steals, all from Benny Makakala. For Brevard, they get 13 out of Annalie Bollinger, 4 of 10 from the field, 3 of 7 from 3. 9 points from Madison Lennox. 0 points, but 5 rebounds for Denia Wilson. 4 points for Lindsey Crisp and 6 points for Sienna Bryant for their total of 32. The Pioneers get 9 points out of Callie Patterson off the bench, along with 4 rebounds out of her. 7 points out of Sydney Wilson. 2 points out of Jasmine Queen. 3 from Malin Head with 7 rebounds, 3 assists. 2 points for Jasmine Williams with 3 blocks and 2 boards, and 2 points for Kalia Murray. If you're wondering, yes, Casey Johnson did play just 5 minutes in the first half, did not score, did not attempt a shot. Could be a huge difference here in this second half, especially if she is able to stay on the floor. Brevard has led by as many as 9, Tusculum by only 2 in that first half. We take a look at the South Atlantic Conference scoreboard. At halftime, it's Catawba leading Coker 30-24. It's Lenore Ryan leading Wingate 33-30. Anderson all over Mars Hill. It's 52-20 in Anderson, South Carolina. Newberry's leading Queens 33-20, and Lincoln Memorial leads Carson Newman 38-30. All games at the half. We get set for the second half when we return after this. Your score at the half. It's Brevard 32, Tusculum 25. Thanks for listening to the Pioneer Halftime Report. Second half action is next here on the Pioneer Sports Network.
Pioneer Sports Network, brought to you by Greenville Federal Bank, the Red, White, and Blue Marathon Quick Stop Markets, Hometown Realty and Auction, Laughlin Memorial Hospital, Realty Executives, Greenville Light and Power. And now, with the call, the voice of the Pioneers, Ryan Staten.
So we start the second half for the Pioneers. They trail 32-25. Brevard will have the basketball to start this second half. Jasmine Williams on the floor to start the second, along with Casey Johnson, Sydney Wilson, Callie Patterson, and Benny Makakala. And it's the same 5 for Brevard because that's all they have. Bollinger with Crisp, Wilson, Bryant, and Madison Lennox. Wilson with the basketball right now. Give it up. This will be inside to Chris, defended by Makakala. Stops, picks up the dribble on the baseline, gives it up to Lennox. Williams staying right with her. Good move by Lennox and a whistle for a foul. Are you kidding me? That'll go on Benny Makakala. Makakala will pick up that personal foul. Unbelievable. Number 2 on her. And the act of shooting apparently was Lennox. Lennox makes the first free throw. She'll have another. Just an unbelievable situation that's going on here. It's just, you just feel bad for them. You just feel terrible. You feel bad for Brevard because they have 5 players, but you feel bad for Tusculum because I think they have played very well in the game, and they're really not getting the opportunity to show that because they get a foul every 5 seconds. Casey Johnson in the paint. Turnaround jumper is off the mark. It's no good. The rebound weak side taken by Bollinger. What Brevard has done for the most part is limited Tusculum's good looks at their second chance opportunities. Tusculum obviously with 12 offensive rebounds. They just don't have a lot of looks. Lennox had the ball knocked away from her by Williams and then settled for a 3. Missing. Rebounded, taken away by the Pioneers. Brevard again by 9 at 34-25. What is it going to take to get this team back into it? I think Casey Johnson scoring. This pass will be deflected off of Bryant out of play. You have to force Bryant and Wilson to get the basketball, even though the offense is set up for obviously Bollinger, Crisp, or Lennox to touch it. Little movement offensively. Williams goes down to Casey Johnson in the paint. There had to have been a foul. It's the same call. We get the bucket to go, but it's the same call that has gone against Tusculum much of the game. But good look by Williams to Johnson. Into the front court, out of the pressure. Keep the ball in her hand. Bryant can't. And then Makakala steps in front of the pass. Patterson up ahead of the pack after the steal. Patterson will put it up and in. Points in transition. Makakala's 4th steal of the game. And now Crisp has it in the backcourt. More pressure. Lennox will get a touch. And give it up to Bollinger as Brevard will try to slow the tempo. 34-29. Tusculum down 5. Back into the hands. Here's Crisp. Crisp, left side. Bryant. Bryant to Lennox. Watched by Williams with 8 to shoot. Lennox right down the lane. Williams with good defense once again. May have gotten a piece of it. Johnson will take it into the front court herself to Wilson. Wilson trailing the play is Makakala. Straightaway 3. That's off the mark. She knew it. Tracked it down. Illegal dribble there by Denia Wilson, but got away with it. She'll try to go coast to coast. Williams got a piece of that one. Rebound taken away by Johnson. 34-29 Brevard. Brevard has tried to go quick a couple of times, and it hasn't worked out. So the Pioneers with the basketball into the front court, doing Brevard a favor by going slow. Wilson, bullet pass inside to Johnson, elevates, shoots, and scores. Casey Johnson did not score, played 5 minutes in the first half, has come out back-to-back buckets. 34-31 Brevard. Into the front court will be Lennox. Lennox will slow it down again. Here's Bollinger. Bollinger watched by Callie Patterson. Taking the shot clock down to 10 seconds. Bollinger will give it up to Crisp. Crisp, Bollinger, inside the paint. Lennox backing her way in on Williams, who stays on the floor. They kick it out. Here's a 3 ball on the way by Denia Wilson. It's no good. Rebounded by Sydney Wilson into the hands of Makakala. Long pass into the front court. Callie Patterson on the left wing. Back to the top, now right side. Wilson settles for a long-range 2. That's off the mark, and the rebound comes down into the hands of Lennox. Wilson could have driven in, probably uncontested to the bucket. Again, settling for that perimeter shot. Brevard clearing the board, leading it by 3. Inside, this will be Chris. She'll take a long-range jumper. It deflects off a couple of Pioneers and finally secured by Makakala. Brevard hinging on the fact that they're going to make shots. At least that appears to be their hope. And with it will be Makakala. She'll take it into the front court, pull up from 15, got the roll. Pioneers on an 8-0 run have trimmed a deficit down to 1 and a timeout by Donald Hudson, and it will be a full break. We'll go to a timeout and return to Pioneer Arena right after this. 5:53 to play in the third. Brevard 34, Tusculum 33. Pioneer basketball continues after this on the Pioneers Sports Network.
run in when you run out.
Welcome back to the Pioneer Sports Network. Pioneer Basketball, your home for Tusculum College sports. Once again, the voice of the Pioneers, Ryan Staten.
Brevard leads 34-33 out of the timeout by the Tornadoes. Matt Kakala will knock the ball out of play, and Brevard will inbound the basketball. Tusculum 4 of 7 this period. Brevard is 0 for 5 and have made 2 free throws. Tusculum has still yet to attempt a free throw in the game. On the drive, little scoop shot is no good. Williams battling for the rebound. We're going to tie it up, and the Pioneers are going to have it back. But another missed shot. Denia Wilson driving down the lane. And so Tusculum a chance to claim the lead. And that came in the first 5 minutes of the game, their last lead. Back and forth we went. Left side front court, Patterson with it into KJ. Johnson had it knocked away, and Lennox comes out of there with the steal. Has Matt Kakala to beat. Matt Kakala gets down the floor and commits the foul. Will force Lennox to take the shot from the free throw line to score. Matt Kakala is going to pick up number 3. And the team's second. Matt Kakala went down. I think Lennox was just anticipating it, and I think if Benny had backed off, Lennox takes a bad shot. But that didn't happen. Lennox at the stripe. Good on the first free throw. And that ends an 8-0 run by the Tusculum Pioneers that made free throws. Still no field goals here in the second half for Brevard. And they are, all 3 of their points have come at the 3-point stripe. 35-33. Brevard leading Tusculum. Madison Lennox missed the second. Pioneers with the basketball into the front court. Right side is Callie Patterson. Patterson on the right wing. Williams giving it back to Patterson. Bumped by Lennox at the top. Now they go to Casey Johnson, and her pass is stolen, and then Makakala gets it right back. Inside to Jasmine Williams. Layup is no good. Casey Johnson has the rebound for the Pioneers. Patterson on the right wing at 3. That one is no good. Makakala with the rebound. Her putback is no good. Rebound taken by Brevard. Well, a lot of looks at it. Good effort, good work by the Pioneers. Bollinger into the front court. This will be Wilson on the left side. 35-33 remains the score. Pioneer team unlucky not to at least have a tie. Sienna Bryant at the top of the key, bouncing it to Lennox. 8 to shoot. Lennox facing the bucket, puts it on the floor, changing direction. Oh, that's a travel. That's a travel. 37-33. It's a 4-point Brevard lead. She got the ball hung on a defender's hip, and she continued to move with the ball. Jumper that's off the mark by Patterson. Rebound by Brevard. And listen, and if it sounds like it's not going our way in the game, folks, it's not going our way. And now Casey Johnson whistled for a foul, and that's an and one. Timeout on the floor. I'm going to need one, or my head's going to explode. We're back to Pioneer Arena right after this. 3:53 to play here in this third period. Brevard 39, Tusculum 33. Pioneer basketball continues after this on the Pioneer Sports Network.
Made
It's hard
easy.
telling.
This is Tusculum College Sports on the Pioneer Sports Network. Your home for Pioneer basketball with the voice of the Pioneers, Ryan Staten.
Denia Wilson at the free throw line, missing the 3-point play, but it's a 5-0 run for Brevard since the game. Pardon me, it's a 6-0 run for Brevard since the game was 34-33. Casey Johnson with 3 fouls, stays out on the floor. Wilson, she'll settle for a 3, short. Rebound taken by Brevard, and that's Denia Wilson. Wilson will attack, run right into the front court, and then back it off. Tusculum 3 of 12 from 3. Wilson with the near steal, and Crisp will preserve possession for Brevard. Malin Head will check in for Wilson of the Pioneers. So 16 to shoot for Brevard. Crisp gets it to Denia Wilson. Wilson holding it near the midcourt stripe, watched by Makakala. Right side, into the paint, Madison Lennox. Turns, and Williams got a piece of it, and another whistle and another foul. Wow. Williams will pick up number 3, and team foul number 4 on Tusculum. Lennox will go right back to the free throw line. Tusculum is yet to attempt a free throw in the game. Yet to attempt one. Making the first is Lennox, which is good. Second free throw is also good. And Brevard builds the lead, 41-33. It's back to 8. All that work Tusculum did to get back into it, negated by fouls. Got to quit committing fouls. Patterson 3. That clanks is no good. Tusculum 3 of 13. They've missed 9 make that 8 consecutive three-point attempts. Wilson will drive on Head. The rebound secured by Williams of Tusculum. 41-33. Brevard with the lead, and 2.5 to play in the third. At the top, this will be Casey Johnson. Johnson, Patterson on the right wing. Little movement on this offensive set. Makakala puts it on the floor. Floater is no good. Williams with the putback is no good, and the rebound tipped out to Brevard. 41-33, 2:10 to play in the third. Tusculum 15 of 52 for the game. Makakala knocks the ball out of play. And Jasmine Queen will check back into the game for Tusculum. Jasmine Williams will get a breather. Good minutes for Williams. And again, she's been a defensive force inside. But the Pioneers have labored mightily shooting. They have attempted 52 shots to Brevard's 36. Nice little backdoor cut for Brevard, and they have their largest lead at 43-33 in the basketball game. Makakala across the stripe for the Pioneers. Left side is Patterson. Johnson in the paint. Jumper, no good. Rebound tipped out by Casey Johnson. And the Brevard Tornadoes will have the ball back. Got to be consistent in scoring. That was the key in our pregame chat with Coach Devin Carter. That hasn't come. And then have got to stop fouling people. Patterson is going to pick up her second. The foul count is 21-4. A minute and a half to play in this third period, and Lennox goes to the free throw line. Second is good by Lennox. It's an 11-point game for Brevard. They have their largest lead. I just hope you hear it in my voice because it's astonishing. Left side front court, this will be Patterson. Inside to Johnson. Johnson turns, scores. Maybe it's the start of something. 44-35, Brevard. Across the stripe, this will be Wilson. Wilson into the front court to Bryant. Bollinger on the right wing, defended by Head. As we go to a minute to play in the third, Tusculum trailing by 9. Lennox defended by Queen with 10 to shoot. Bollinger at the top. Down the lane, puts it off the glass. And I thought she blew the whistle. Apparently she did not. But the bucket is good. It's 46-35, but I thought she did blow the whistle. Left side front court is Patterson. Johnson. Lennox with a hand check. Who are going to call that? The foul is going to go on Lennox, will be her second. It's the first whistle against Brevard in the period, with 34 seconds to play. So Johnson on the inbound for the Pioneers. Macacalla. Patterson. Inside to Johnson. Turns on Lennox with the left hand is good. Casey Johnson. 46-37. Got to have a stop. Head tips the pass. Patterson comes away with it for Tusculum. So 10 seconds to play in the period. Left side, Malin Head. Casey Johnson, 6 seconds. Head gets it back, drives, missed the layup. Oh, they're going to call a foul. It'll go against Lindsey Crisp. It'll be her second. If anybody from Brevard is going to complain, yeah, you're kidding me. Malin Head will go to the free throw line to shoot the team's first free throws of the game, with 3.1 seconds to play in the third. Her free throw is good for Malin Head, one of the top free throw shooters for her career in the South Atlantic Conference. 82% so far this year, 79% for her career. Makes the second as well. 46-38. Lennox gets the shot away, and that will end the third period. But Tusculum cut into the deficit, trailed by 1, but Brevard will go to the fourth, leading by 7. End of 3. Brevard 46, Tusculum 39. This is Pioneer Basketball from Pioneer Arena on the Pioneer Sports Network.
Wherever you look, you'll see our signs, and behind them, another local home for sale. But there's a lot more behind our signs you don't see.
Nice looking home. Let's go in.
I have a good feeling about this one.
When you see our sign,
Pioneer Basketball on the Pioneer Sports Network. Your home for Tusculum College sports. Once again, the voice of the Pioneers, Ryan Staten.
46-39, Brevard. We start the fourth. Brevard with the basketball. They have the same 5 on the floor, of course, because that's all they have. Lennox was 17. 15 points for Annalie Bollinger to lead the way for Brevard. They lead it by 7. Lennox, watched by Casey Johnson. Driving baseline, got away with that little swim move. And the ball is going to be deflected out of play with 7 seconds to shoot. So the Pioneers out of play defense. But Lennox got away with that little arm move to get to the baseline. On the inbound, this is going to be Bollinger. 5 seconds. 3 by Bollinger is no good. Rebounded by Casey Johnson. Queen out there with Patterson, Head, and Macacalla. Patterson leads Tusculum with 11. Left side front court, Malin Head. To the top, Macacalla. Into the hands of Queen. Inside to Johnson. Queen, right side, Macacalla. Good ball movement. They go inside to Johnson. Tripped, falls to the floor. And the ball is knocked out of play. A turnover by Tusculum. 10th turnover for the Pioneers. Good ball movement, but again, we're going to have the movement inside. It's got to come at a quicker clip for this Pioneer team. Move the ball. Brevard just kind of stepping back and just kind of trying to crowd the lane, pardon me, and done a good job for the most part. Riley Patterson's going to be whistled for a foul. Patterson's going to pick up her third, team's first of the fourth. It comes 57 seconds into the fourth. Lennox picks up the dribble. Bollinger onto the right side, right wing. This is going to be a pass to the top. It's knocked away. It's still loose. Queen will pick it up. Crisp knocking it away from behind and out of play. The Pioneers will get it. Good effort, good hustle by Sydney Wilson, Patterson, and Jasmine Queen. So the Pioneers have it down 7, 46-39. Can they hang on to it? Brevard has turned it over 9 times. Inside, outside, Casey Johnson to 3. Good. Casey Johnson knocks down to 3. 5, make that 6 of 12 from 3 this year. Johnson didn't score in the first half, has 11 here in the second. Offensive foul, it's going to go against Brevard, and that'll go against Lindsey Crisp. Wilson got to the spot. Crisp has picked up her third of the 7 fouls in the game called against Brevard. 3 of them have gone against Crisp. 46-42, Brevard. Queen back out to Patterson. Here's Johnson to Patterson. Takes a right wing jumper from 19 off the dribble, missed it, but followed her own miss and got it back. 2 minutes gone here in the fourth. Pioneers trail by 4. Can they move it against what Brevard is doing? Johnson inside on Lennox, and a no call. Missed the shot. Lennox gets the ball and takes it into the front court. It's the same call that has gone against Johnson, Queen, and Williams the entire game when Madison Lennox has the ball offensively. Denia Wilson. This will be Bryant. Defended by Wilson. Right side is Crisp. Lennox, 7 to shoot. Spins. Jumper is no good. Battles got her own miss. Lennox again in the lane. Oh, she's so good, but missing again. Rebound taken away by the Pioneers, Macacala. 46-42. Right side front court. Tusculum trails by 4. Queen fronting Crisp. Goes right to the rim. Put it up and in. Jasmine Queen. 46-44. Lennox got away, I think, with an extra move with the feet, and it's a ball that's knocked out of play, and it stays with Brevard. It's that ball that's knocked away, and it's loose, and Tusculum can't get there. It's been that kind of night. Well, it has been, let's just say it's been a night. It has been a crazy, crazy night. Denia Wilson will hand it off to Bollinger. To Crisp at the top. Back to Bollinger. Fires a 3. That's no good. And the rebound, Casey Johnson for the Pioneers. 46-44, Brevard. Macacala with it across the stripe. Queen. Johnson for the tie. Yes. Casey Johnson ties it at 46. Bollinger in the backcourt. Our first tie since very early, and the Pioneers come up with the steal. Patterson gets it into the hands of Macacala, and they'll reset instead of attack. Like to see the team attack after they get a steal. Inside, Casey Johnson for the lead. No, too strong. Crisp comes away with the defensive stop. Lennox getting away from Macacala. Into the front court is Crisp. Tusculum organizing defensively. 6 minutes to play in the game, and the Pioneers have rallied from 11 down in the half. Down 44-33. They're on a 13-2 spurt. Lennox driving on Johnson. Missing. Rebounded by Jasmine Queen. Good defense by Johnson. Long pass front court. Sydney Wilson on the baseline. Skips it to Patterson. Fakes a long range for a closer look. Missed that shot. Rebound Patterson. Missed that shot. And a rebound taken by Brevard. Across the midcourt stripe, Bollinger. Tusculum cannot buy a break in the game. 5.5 to play in the game. At the top, pass is deflected, but still finds Lennox. Brevard looks a bit winded, but they should be. What are we going to get here? What do we have? We have 2 whistles simultaneously. 2 officials are going to talk about it. And is it an illegal screen? Oh! They're going to... How do they count the bucket? They blew the whistle before the shot went down. How are they going to count the bucket? How is the bucket good? How is the bucket good? You blew the whistle before the ball was shot. How in the world does that go down? They counted the 3. And now it's Brevard basketball, and they call Benny Makakala with the foul, I think. Makakala with the steal. She'll drive, she'll shoot it, and make it. 49-48. Makakala defending for Brevard. I'm getting a bit hot under the collar. I guess I should calm down. 49-48. Oh, there's that push-off by Bollinger. Her jumper's no good, and the rebound taken by Johnson. You got to attack this team now. You got to take it. 49-48. Brevard has been given every opportunity in this basketball game from my rose-colored glass perspective. Johnson for the lead. It's good. The Pioneers lead for the first time since it was 12-10. It's 50-49. Bollinger traveled, passes off to Crisp, into the hands of Lennox. Outlet to Bryant for 3. Big bucket. Big bucket by Sienna Bryant of Brevard. 52-50. Brevard back in front. After the Pioneers had taken the lead, Bryant gets it right back after a travel. Inside the paint, Johnson. No, she'll have to earn it at the stripe. That will take us to a break, and we'll return to Pioneer Arena right after this. 3:52 to play. Brevard 52, Tusculum 50. Pioneer basketball continues after this on the Pioneer Sports Network.
Pioneer Sports Network. Basketball, your home for Tusculum College sports. Once again, the voice of the Pioneers, Ryan Staten.
52-50. It's Brevard leading Tusculum. Brevard shooting 35% for the game. Tusculum 34%. Tusculum has attempted 19 more shots than Brevard. And Tusculum 11 of 28 in the second half. Brevard 6 of 19. 2 big free throws here for Casey Johnson, who knocks down her first. Did not score at all in the first half, and Johnson now is 16 in this second half. Annalie Bollinger has 18 on a gift 3 earlier, and 17 in the game for Madison Lennox. Johnson goes to the line and stripes home both free throws and ties the game at 52. Final 3:45 of the game. Can the Pioneers get stops? Crisp. Denia Wilson. Wilson defending Wilson. Sienna Bryant hit a big 3 just moments ago to get the lead back to 52-50. We're tied at 52 now. Crisp, by the way, picked up her 4th foul. Lennox spinning in the lane and gets the roll. Nice move by Madison Lennox. She has 19. She has earned them. No wonder one of the league's best scorers and the league's top scorer. 54-52 Brevard. That high-low post feed not there, so Patterson fires for the lead. Missed it. Rebound taken by Brevard. Tusculum has hit 4 from downtown. They're 4 of 15 for the game. They have hit 1 of their last 10 from 3. And with under 3 to play, Brevard leading by 2, and they'll milk the clock again. Left side front court, this is going to be Denia Wilson. Wilson defended by Patterson. They bounce it low to Lennox, who picks it up. She'll back her way in off the glass and put it in. Madison Lennox, it's a little too easy right there. 56-52, Brevard by 4. 2.5 to play in the game. Pioneers need a make. Wilson for a 3 is off the mark. It's no good. And the rebound tip, Johnson gets it, had it, and knocked from her possession. Well, we are sticking to our guns in this one. If the philosophy is open shot, shoot it, then we have not made shots. Not good shooting night again for a Pioneer basketball team that has shown the inability to knock down shots. And a dribble infraction against Benny Makakala will be the 11th turnover of the game against the Pioneers. Make that number 12, sorry. 2:15 to play. Brevard and Tusculum, final time as conference members. In the South Atlantic Conference for the foreseeable future, Brevard moves to Division III next year and out of the South Atlantic Conference. Bollinger to Lennox has scored 4 straight for Brevard. Bollinger into the corner. This will be Crisp. Drives in for a closer look. Her shot is no good. Rebounded by Casey Johnson. Pioneers need buckets with 1:49 to play in the game. Down 4. 56-52. Makakala, right side. This is going to be Johnson. Inside to Queen. Knocked away by Lennox. It'll stay Pioneer basketball with 16 to shoot. Casey Johnson, a big second half. She has 17. Patterson stuck on 11. She's 5 of 17 for the game. Casey Johnson on the right wing. Patterson inside to Queen. Spins into paint and missing. And the rebound tipped out of bounds. Can you get help? Yeah, that's good. That's good help. It will stay Tusculum basketball. Patterson on the inbound. However, we got to make shots in close. 1:28 to play. Tusculum down 4. Patterson had it knocked away, got it back. Makakala. Patterson. Inside to Johnson. Around Crisp, who has 4 fouls, scores. Now they need a stop. Madison Lennox to Bollinger. 56-54. Bollinger into the front court. Lennox at the top. Crisp fakes the 3, drives in, backs it out. Long-range jumper, Denia Wilson is no good. Rebounded by Makakala. Pioneer basketball down 2, 50 seconds to play. I don't know that I can handle any more of this madness. Queen ties it. Queen pulls the trigger from 15 feet. And it's a smart move because the Pioneers guaranteed a possession. 35 seconds. I should say there's no guarantee in this game. Bounce pass baseline. This will be Crisp. Lennox driving on Queen. Reverse layup hanging. No. Rebounded by Patterson. Can take the final shot. And the Pioneers get the stop. They wanted to advance it, I'm sure, on the timeout. So the Pioneers get the timeout. It will be a full break. And they're going to move it on the advancement. So the Pioneers, who have rallied this entire game, and it has been a rally, we'll see if they cannot get the job done here, as Devin Carter, uncharacteristically, has used just his first timeout of this basketball game. Well, there are so many things that we look forward to, and one of those is the spring sports season. Coming up in between games, and as actually at halftime of the men's game, we'll take a look at this week in Tusculum athletics. It's always fun to see where the teams will be ranked to start their spring seasons respectively. The preseason poll is out for softball, for men's and women's lacrosse, as well as baseball. We'll talk about where each of those teams. If you don't know, you can go online and find out at TusculumPioneers.com. Spring season just around the corner as we get ready to get back outdoors. Of course, it has been such a mild winter here in across much of this region in the South Atlantic Conference. It hasn't felt much like a winter. I think it's going to get cold this weekend, but it's been pretty nice. All right, final 20 seconds. Here we go. Makakala With the basketball, the Pioneers have probably led 8% of this game. We're tied with 8 seconds to play in the game. Wilson, Johnson, Queen for the lead. Yes. Jasmine Queen with 2.4 to play. And Donald Hudson saves his final timeout. Will have the opportunity to advance it. It is a big-time three-point shooting team for Brevard. Jasmine Queen. She'll tell you, you know what, my point production probably has not been where it needs to be this season, but she has just hit back-to-back buckets, which are 2 of the biggest this season for this team. And a team that has been quagmired in bad luck in this game against Brevard has the lead again. They led at 50-49. They now lead at 58-56. There will be 2.4 seconds on the clock as the Pioneers have rallied from being down by 11 here in this second half when it was 44-33. Pioneers trailed much of the first half. Brevard went on a run. Tusculum did not attempt a free throw until the final 3 seconds of the third period. And they have only attempted 4 the entire game. Brevard has gone 13 of 18 at the free throw line. But they have the propensity to make the long shot. Is their late game heroics for Brevard. 2.4. They advance the ball in front of the bench. Chris to inbound it. Chris to Lennox. Back door to Bryant for the tie. She got it done. She got it done. Tied the game. And we will. Where did they count? They didn't count it. Did they count the bucket? I don't know if Donald Hudson knew if it went down. The officials are talking about it. Are they counting the bucket? Donald Hudson didn't think they got it off on time. Is the bucket good? I guess they've counted the bucket. I guess we're going to OT. Let's go to a break. Let's find out for sure. It's Tusculum 58, Brevard 58. Pioneer basketball continues after this on the Pioneer Sports Network. To be done. 4 fouls for Crisp, and they have only played 5 players the entire game. They have one other player over on the bench who has not even seen the floor. Was told it would be an emergency situation only. Wilson, 3, way off the mark, and the rebound out of play off of Crisp with 9 seconds to shoot. Well, they got the look they wanted, I believe. Didn't go down. Tusculum 5 of 18 from 3. On the inbound, this will be Patterson on the left wing. Patterson, 19-footer, no. Rebound and control by Denia Wilson of Brevard. Brevard basketball, they'll take it into the front court. Wilson defending on Wilson. At the top, now to the baseline is Denia Wilson. And Donald Hudson says, give me a timeout. Take a look at some of the numbers for this Pioneer basketball team. You know, they attempted 23 three-pointers against Marcelo. It just seems as if they have attempted a whole lot more threes in this game than their 18 would suggest. But that is all that they have attempted so far in this basketball game. That makes any sense. Hudson had to burn a timeout here in the overtime. He has no more remaining. So it's 61-58. That's the one he was given in the overtime. He didn't have any that carried over. So 3:41 to play. It's 61-58. Tusculum by 3. This is their largest lead of the game. On the inbound, Bollinger gets away from Patterson. Baseline off the side of the backboard is no good. Brevard, you have to think they're getting a little bit tired, and now they're in overtime. And Crisp is out there on the floor playing with 4 fouls. Queen to Johnson. Into paint. No. Rebound tip by Brevard. Bollinger gave ground that time, and I thought that was a good no call. I thought she defended it very nicely. Of course, it's only my opinion. Lennox into paint. Driving on a double team. Missed the shot. Rebounded. Taken away by Casey Johnson. Lennox probably could have contended. There may have been some contact there, and I would not have complained about that one either. 61-58, 2:50 to play in the basketball overtime. Makakala, watched by Crisp. They've taken Crisp out of the paint because of the 4 fouls. Johnson, Cutter, Queen. Oh, she'll draw the foul, and she misses an easy one in close. She'll say, I would like to have that one back. Bollinger picks up her first foul. So the third here in this fourth and the overtime period as it carries over into the OT. Queen at the free throw line. 72% this season missing. Second free throw by Queen is good. Pioneers have a 4-point lead. Queen with 9 points. Just 3 times this year as she scored double figures. Had an opportunity at the free throw line there, but missed the first. Lennox will drive on a double team. And then Lennox tried to stop, and I believe it was KJ that ran her over. So KJ will pick up her 4th. So Tusculum playing Casey Johnson with 4, Makakala with 4, Patterson with 3, Jasmine Queen with 3. It's a non-shooting foul, and Brevard will throw it in down 4 with 2.5 to play. On the inbound, Bollinger to get a lot of it back. Does. Big-time 3 for Bollinger, and it's 62-61 Tusculum. Makakala across the stripe, 2:20 on the clock. Overtime, game 1 of our doubleheader. Lobbing it into the hands of Queen, out to Patterson. Patterson, Makakala at the top, 10 to shoot. Right side, Patterson, 5 to shoot. Johnson in the lane. Jump runner is good. Casey Johnson. 21 for Casey Johnson. Brevard basketball, they trail by 3, 64-61. Wilson into the front court. On the right side, Bollinger. Crisp at the top. Back to Bollinger, and the pass knocked away by Makakala. I think Makakala knows that she touched it. She's not saying anything. 1:33 to play in the overtime, and the Pioneers hold a 3-point lead, 64-61. Bollinger Gets some separation. Jumper is no good from 15. Rebounded by Sydney Wilson. 90 seconds to play. Makakala brings it across the stripe. Right side to Sydney Wilson. Tusculum has gone with this too-high post set, and then Queen delivers to Johnson. Well, they wanted her to take the shot there. Patterson. Casey Johnson on Lennox. No. Rebounded by Crisp. 1 minute to play. One possession game. 64-61. Handing it off into the hands of Denia Wilson. Wilson to Bryant. The reason we're in the overtime. Her jumper at the end that they counted. I think they should have. Bollinger to tie it. Yes. Bollinger ties it and will get the ball back as it's a difference of about 7 seconds. Game clock to shot clock in the overtime. The Pioneers must score. Bollinger has been special. She has 24. And the Pioneers will burn the timeout. They'll inbound it from midcourt. And they want a full break. We'll go to a timeout. 29 seconds in the overtime. It's Tusculum 64 and Brevard 64. Pioneer basketball continues after this on the Pioneer Sports Network. They have cut the timeout short for the Pioneers, said they did not have a full break after they awarded them the full break. So, my bad. Tusculum ball, we are in the final 28 seconds of the overtime. Tied at 64. 10 seconds to shoot. Wilson, Johnson, double teamed. Oh, she traveled. Oh, she turned it over. 15 seconds to play. I don't think they were really setting their offensive design. Bollinger with 24 will bring it into the front court for Brevard. 10 seconds to play in the overtime. Can the Pioneers get a stop? Bollinger defended by Johnson. Lennox has it. She'll try a three. Yes. Her only three. So the Pioneers get the timeout. They'll have the chance to advance it, but they trail by 3, 67-64. Madison Lennox, her only three-pointer of the game, and it will probably be the final shot of the game. Her and Bollinger each with 20 in the first meeting, and now with 24 apiece for those two. It will spoil a good night from Casey Johnson's 21 points, 12 rebound effort. A double-double for her. It's her 8th double-double of her career. 14 for Patterson. Can they get a shot? They are not. They are without Tara Shields tonight. Would be a three-point threat in this particular situation. But she has not dressed out tonight. Banged up, her and Reagan Croft. So 1.3 to play in the overtime. Will the Pioneers send it to a double? Patterson gets a look. Yes! 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 We go to a double overtime. Callie Patterson will send us to the second extra frame. Back to Pioneer Arena after this. End of overtime. Tusculum 67, Brevard 67. Pioneer basketball continues after this on the Pioneer Sports Network.
It's a confidence, a comfort level. It's a feeling of trust. I saw the signs right away. The way they listen to it.
Their knowledge and expertise.
Look for the signs of your local racing experts. Look to Hometown Realty Greenville, because no one knows better than you. That's why, wherever you live,
We're doing a full timeout.
Hometown Realty Greenville.
Yeah, let's do a full break.
Bring to life the power. The heat pump loan program and the eStore home efficiency program go hand in hand. A free e-store inspection will show you how you can make your home as energy efficient as it possibly can be. Then if your plans call for a new electric heat pump, the free form before you can apply for the loan. Complete details from Greenville Light and Power, 636-6200.
Pioneer Basketball on the Pioneer Sports Network. Your home for Tusculum College sports. Once again, the voice of the Pioneers, Ryan Staten.
Pioneers win the opening tip of the second overtime. We're here because of the Callie Patterson heroics, a baseline three to send us to this second overtime, so don't spoil it. It's our first overtime game against Brevard since 2014. We won that one. Casey Johnson gives us a good start to the second overtime with her 23rd point. That's a Pioneer basketball team that leads now by 2 at 69-67. Bollinger to Sienna Bryant. She sent us to the first overtime from regulation. Bollinger with it on the right side. Pioneers defending the perimeter. Bryant, baseline three, looks short. It is, and the rebound, Makakala for the Pioneers. So Benny Makakala corrals her 9th rebound of the game, and that will equal her season and career high that she had against Brevard, which she had 9 rebounds. 21 and 12, make that 23 and 12 for Casey Johnson, her 8th career double-double. In the paint, Queen, extra pass, Makakala, please go. Bang! 72-67, Tusculum's largest lead of the night. They probably trailed 98% of regulation. They led probably 90% of the overtime. They lead the double overtime, and the pass from Bryant slips out of her hand into the hands of Casey Johnson. It might be noted, and I would probably point it out, that Donald Hudson was, during the break between overtime 1-2, arguing that Callie Patterson's foot may have been on the line. It was close. Lennox reaching in, and we play on. Wilson on the left wing, bouncing it into Queen. Queen had it knocked away by Lennox. Comes up with the steal. She came off her man. Lennox will drive, and a block is going to be whistled on Sydney Wilson, who never moved position. She never moved. Sydney Wilson will be whistled for her second. It's a non-shooting foul, but she never moved. She was backing up the whole time and then stopped, and Lennox ran right into her, and she got the call. Big call again, and Brevard with possession down 5. Baseline with the ball is going to be Lennox. Spinning on the dribble, driving, missing. Rebounded by Casey Johnson. Makakala gets away from Lennox. 2:35 to play. It has been a tough go for the Pioneers because it has been anything but consistent. Talked about a consistency offensively. They didn't have much of it in that game. Now in the overtime, they found some consistency with Casey Johnson, who gets the roll from the baseline about 10 feet. And Donald Hudson will call a timeout here from Pioneer Arena. He burns his last time the Pioneers went overtime with Brevard in 2014. I believe the game ended in regulation 76-76. The game ended 85-76. Brevard did not score in the OT at all. There have been 2 overtime games between these two teams, 2009 in Brevard and 2014 in Brevard. Both times, Tusculum won. Pioneers are looking for their 3rd overtime win. They are looking for their 16th all-time win against Brevard in the 20th and final meeting as Division II opponents. Brevard basketball. They trail by 7, largest deficit they have faced in the entire game. In the corner, Sienna Bryant gets it back to Bollinger to Lennox. Watched by Queen. Drives on Queen, scores. Queen just kind of gave ground, and there's 2 minutes to play and a 5-point Pioneer lead. But I think in order to ensure a victory, a bucket or points needed on this possession. Makakala on the left wing because no lead is safe with Brevard. Johnson driving, and a hand check will be called, I believe. We got a couple of whistles. That'll be the case. It'll be a call against Brevard. Lennox will pick up number 3, and the 4th on Brevard. Patterson on the left wing for the Pioneers on the inbound. So Makakala will back it out near the midcourt stripe as we approach 90 seconds to play in the second overtime. Patterson to Queen. Johnson and driving on Lennox, and we're going to say play on. All right, that's unbelievable. I don't know how you draw up a better play to draw a foul. And Bollinger missing a 3. It was in and out, and the rebound comes down to Patterson. An unreal situation. Oh, they're going to call a foul first. And it will be 2 shots for Tusculum. And now Lennox is going to be whistled for her 4th. So Crisp, who has played the entire 5 minutes of the regulation and this in duration of OT with 4, Lennox will now have 4. Makakala at the free throw line, 76%, knocks it in. Makakala, who started 23 games at Morgan State last year, second on the team with 49 assists, made them both. And the Pioneers a lead again by 7. And Sydney Wilson is going to be whistled for her 3rd foul. And it will send Brevard to the line. And that's Bollinger at 93% on the season. And she just doesn't miss. Of course, she's only attempted 15 free throws this season coming into tonight. And she'll make another one. Can't have the silly foul 30 feet from the bucket. Wilson thought she was standing her ground that time. I will say, just back away. Don't put it in the hands of the officials to make a bad call, which they will do. You're human. It's 76-71. Tusculum by 5. Queen takes it into the front court for the Pioneers. Makakala with 1 minute to play in the second overtime. Tusculum leads 76-71. And they're going to get a foul on Bollinger with 50 seconds to play. Took a little while for her to decide if she was going to foul her. She finally did on the move. Season high in scoring for the Pioneers. 76 points in this game. It's taken 2 extra free periods of basketball to get to this point. End of regulation was 58-58. Pioneers outscored Brevard 19-12 in the 4th, and Brevard ended up needing to force the overtime. Makakala makes both. 45 seconds left. 78-71. Crisp on the left wing. Wasting time, Lennox. Outside, Bryant 3. Line drive 3 is no good, and that may have been it. Rebound taken away by Wilson. Makakala with the basketball. They want her to have it. And she'll be fouled and will come down to the free throw line. I don't know what happened to Mars Hill, but they were down with about 8 players the last time we played them. That was 4 games ago. And the Pioneers won that game. They were short on numbers. But they went to Anderson, South Carolina tonight. And it may be one of the worst beats in league history as Anderson defeats Mars Hill 98-38 tonight. 60. I don't know what happened. Catawba has beaten Coker 59-46. Wingate has beaten LR 68-52. 1 of 2 at the free throw line. Lennox for 3. No good. Rebounded by Jasmine Queen. And she was poked in the eye by Wilson, her teammate. And then a whistle and a foul will go against Sienna Bryant. Another big blowout win tonight. Newberry has beaten Queens 74-41. Tusculum trails Queens by 2 games for 8th place in the league. Free throw is good by Jasmine Queen. Last year, Tusculum had 7 wins at this point in the year. Just 2 so far this year. So it's a chance for Tusculum. Second free throw by Queen is good. Queen into double figures for the fourth time this season. And the Pioneers lead for double figures for the first time this game. Bollinger, Magic is running out. Lennox, offensive rebound, draws a foul with 8.6 to play. It will go on Makakala, and she will foul out of the game. And the other final, LMU has held off Carson Newman tonight and the reigning Conference Player of the Week, Michael Wester, 72-63, I believe. So LMU holds a 3-game lead against, I don't see the Wingate game out there. Is Wingate not playing tonight? How do they get tonight off? Oh, they beat LR. Sorry, that's my fault. Wingate still with a 3 games back. Anderson 3 games back. Catawba 3 games back. Carson Newman falls 4 games back of LMU. Jasmine Queen, the reason we are in the situation we're in, game tire, go ahead, and Sienna Bryant had to make a shot to send it to overtime. Lennox misses 2. Jasmine Williams secures the rebound, gets rid of it to Tia Daly, and Brevard will not foul, and that will be it. And Devin Carter's Pioneers survive it in 2 overtimes to knock off the Brevard Tornado by a final score of 81-71 in 2 OTs. Not to take anything away whatsoever from the heart, desire, the determination of this Brevard team. Ran out of a little gas. Apparently that will probably be the case for them throughout the season. Callie Patterson sent us into the OT, taking advantage of the new rule on women's basketball that with the timeout that allows us to advance the basketball to the end of the floor, which is what we were able to do. We advanced the ball, and Callie Patterson striping a 3 as time expired to send us into the second overtime frame where the Pioneers, for lack of a better term, dominated. Much of this game all belonged to Brevard. They were the better team. They didn't foul. We fouled a bunch. We didn't get to the free throw line. They did. They made 3s. We did not. They made shots. We did not. But this Pioneer basketball team found a way to persevere, led by Casey Johnson in the second half. Jasmine Queen, a senior leader, carrying us into the overtime, and Callie Patterson extending it into a second overtime where the Pioneers get their 4th win of the year, their 3rd conference win, and get the regular season split with the Brevard Tornadoes. In 2 overtimes, Tusculum beats Brevard. Back with your Pioneer postgame report after this, and Pioneer coach Devin Carter. Again, your final, Tusculum 81, Brevard 71. Thanks for listening to Pioneer Basketball. Now stay tuned to the Pioneer postgame report here on the Pioneer Sports Network.
1450 WSMG, Greenville.
Whenever there's a project,
I'm here. I'm ready. Sorry.
You'll always find our local merchants right.
Okay.
College sports. Once again, the voice of the Pioneers, Ryan Staten.
Tusculum wins double overtime, 81-71. They outscored Brevard 14-4 in that second overtime period. And there are so many storylines. There's so many things, so many reasons to be frustrated, so many reasons to not believe or understand. But this team found a way. I applaud Brevard more than you know. Just an amazing effort. They had 5 players. That's what they had tonight. And they get 2 to score 26, nearly get this win, deserve the win. They played well. They shot well. They didn't turn it over. They didn't foul. They didn't make many mistakes in the basketball game. And they just didn't have enough in the tank down the stretch. It looked as if they had it won on a three-pointer by Madison Lennox with 1.3 to play. But Callie Patterson gets a look on the baseline at the end of the first overtime and drained it. And we went to a second overtime, and the Pioneers in the second overtime just, I think, took over. It had to have been demoralizing for Brevard to feel as if you had won the game. Of course, Tusculum felt that way at the end of regulation on a Jasmine Queen jumper. They had to believe they had won it, and then Sienna Bryant was open on the baseline and found a way to put it in around Casey Johnson. There was no indication, obvious indication, of the made bucket. Donald Hudson came down to this end of the floor to shake the hands of Devin Carter because there was no real indication as to whether or not they had won the game because the officials still didn't say it was good. And even there was still no emphatic indication that it was good. They didn't back it up. They didn't say. Donald Hudson had to ask 3 times. It was good, and it's almost like the officials didn't want to tell him it was good. I believed it was good naked eye. It beat the buzzer, but again, I don't know that the officials communicated that good enough. At the end of the first overtime, Callie Patterson was dangerously close to the line when she let the 3 go. And Donald Hudson disputed that, I believe justifiably so, because it was close, but the official said undoubtedly it was a 3. And so we went to the second overtime. So many things going on in the game. For so long, the Pioneers committed so many fouls, and Brevard just didn't. They stayed out of foul trouble. And they started to commit them late. Obviously, they were forced to do that. But there's got to be career numbers for some of these girls. Denia Wilson finishing with 10 rebounds tonight. She's the smallest player on the floor. She finished with 10 rebounds tonight. What a game. For Tusculum, they end up shooting 38% for the game. They shoot 31 of 82. They took 82 shots. They shot better in the OT, 6 of 11. They were better in the second half, 14 of 34, 41%, and they took a lot of shots in the game. 7 of 20 from 3, 12 of 14 at the free throw line, and they out-rebounded Brevard 60-38. And again, the 60 has got to be a season best. Obviously, when you play 10 extra minutes, then that's going to make a huge difference in the rebound game. That's the first 60-rebound game since 2014 when they went to West Liberty and played West Liberty on December 1st, 2014. So for Brevard, they shoot 23 of 65. They shoot 35%. They went just 9 of 25 in the second half, 4 of 13 in the overtime. They hit 10 of 25 from 3. Bollinger hit 6 of them. She was 6 of 13 from 3. And 15 of 22 at the free throw line for Brevard. Tusculum out rebounds Brevard 60-38. They had 20 offensive rebounds to Brevard's 6. Now, Brevard didn't stand around and they didn't wait to get offensive rebounds because they didn't want to get beat in transition and get into that game, so a lot of that was their game plan. Tusculum had 23 assists, 7 from Benny Macacala, 14 turnovers, 4 blocks, all 4 from Jasmine Williams, and 10 steals in the game, 7 from Macacala. For Brevard, They get 14 assists, 14 turnovers, 0 blocks, and 9 steals, 5 of them from Madison Lennox. For the Pioneers, they get 25 from Casey Johnson. They get 17 from Callie Patterson, who had 8 rebounds as well, rebounding from the guard position. Benny Macacala, 12 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, 7 steals for Macacala. Very close to a quadruple-double tonight. 25 points for Casey Johnson, all of that in the second half in the overtime periods, and 13 rebounds, her 8th double-double of her career. 11 points for Jasmine Queen, her 4th double-digit scoring game of the season, and she sent us to overtime with the game tire and the go-ahead bucket with 2.3. 7 points for Sydney Wilson, 6 rebounds, 5 points for Malin Head, 2 points for Jasmine Williams with 8 rebounds and 4 blocks, and 2 points for Kalia Murray with 3 boards in her time on the floor for their total of 81. Pioneers outscore Brevard in the paint 36-26. And the bench outscored Brevard because they only had 5 players, 21-0 in this basketball game. We'll continue our pregame look of Game 2 as well as we await the arrival of Devin Carter here at courtside. We'll hear from the Associate Men's Head Coach Jay Welburn about Game 2, and that'll be coming up here in moments. Again, your final score in overtime, Tusculum 81, Brevard 71. You're listening to Pioneer Basketball and our post-game coverage here from Pioneer Arena on the Pioneer Sports Network.
The Pioneer pregame show on the Pioneer Sports Network. Your home for Pioneer basketball with the voice of the Pioneers, Ryan Staten.
Tusculum women get a 2-overtime win in Game 1 of our doubleheader, 81-71, and we'll chat with Devin Carter coming up here in a few moments. But we look ahead to Game 2, Tusculum and Brevard. They'll meet for the final time as conference opponents in the South Atlantic Conference and at Division II for the foreseeable future. Brevard moves to Division III next year and out of the league. It'll be the 22nd meeting between the schools. Tusculum leads the all-time series 14-7. Mike Jones, the story developing. I'm just learning at halftime of the women's game, Jay Welburn came to do the interview because Mike Jones is under the weather. He is in the building. He will be in the stands providing some input, but a 102 temperature, but he is here in the building. And